Howdy doody.
Hello, hello, and welcome to Otherworld Global TV, our new season kickoff. I am Sandra Sabatini.
Natalie Sabatini.
And joining us today is none other than Dave Parker of the Free Energy Party. And we have so much to discuss with Dave today about free energy. He's got a working free energy device. We're going to be talking to him a little bit about that. And you know, they say that it's third-party tested, and we can't wait to get into that just a little bit. But before we start, we're going to go ahead and kick it off with our intro to Otherworld Global TV, and we'll be right back. And we are back on Otherworld Global TV. I am Sandra Sabatini.
Natalie Sabatini.
And before we left, we were getting ready to introduce you to our featured guest today. It's a pleasure to have this gentleman with us. He is a leader in the free energy movement, alternative energy movement. We'd like to welcome, without any further delay, Mr. Dave Parker. Dave, welcome.
We may have a little bit of audio difficulties. But the video is fine, so lip readers will do great. I just want to say that I'm truly honored to be working with such a magnificent, wonderful team as the pair of you. Your picture just vanished, however. Are you still there?
Yes, sir. We are featuring you so that folks can see you better. Go ahead, Dave.
I want to say, from the depth of my heart, that you're a very, very special people. People at Otherworld Global TV, Sandra and her other half are dedicated to the truth and to the consciousness ascension of all mankind. And I'm very honored that I've chosen their program to be the first one to basically announce a reverse the grid campaign and to announce a third-party validated, matter of fact, it's a multi-million-dollar test lab. It's not just anybody's uncle or their brother, but a third-party validated, independent test lab validated proof of free energy after 4 years of hard work by the Free Energy Party. We're just proud to announce it here on this program with these wonderful ladies who are great goddesses and leaders in the consciousness ascension movement in the world today. So thank you.
Well, Dave, thank you for that wonderful, wonderful introduction there. I tell you, you know, it's a pleasure to have you. We've been wanting to have you for a while now. And what better way to kick off our new season than with you and the announcement you have for us. But to kind of give folks a little bit of a background about you, because we have folks from all different backgrounds that actually tune into our program and our network. Let's start a little bit about yourself. I mean, what I understand, you're a Harvard man, you're a highly educated guy. How did you get into this free energy movement?
People, haters, don't like it when I say this, but I scored past the proverbial mark on government IQ tests. And so I view actual formal education in America, whether it's Harvard or Yale or Princeton or wherever, as just overpriced places dealing out the same pablum, which is like some kind of baby food for the masses, which is controlled, just as doctors only have 3 years of education in nutrition, and their textbooks are purchased by the drug companies. And so you need to understand the petrochemical cult has taken over the world. The Free Energy Party represents a way to approach it financially, economically, instead of an us versus them type of a battle finance, and created so that you heads you lose and tails you lose. So anyway, back to the point. As far as my education, I think it's very important to realize that everyone needs to watch the movie Rain Man. And genius exists in all people. Even people that score retarded, when I was told and shown, I was shown on a graph that I could have anybody's job and do anything in the world. And I was shown that I didn't believe in it, because I know I scored well on those tests, but a retarded man was on Rain Man, and he was capable of doing mathematical equations that no one else on the world could do instantly, automatically. Like something, if somebody was there at a circus, you could raise a lot of money, because that was a unique phenomenon, unique demonstration of genius from an otherwise social retard. So these set of questions are for typical curriculum. I'm here as an Evo Revo mofo. I'm here as an Evo Revo solutionary to tell you that, in fact, the curriculum has to be changed to include free energy, cures for diseases, and organic permaculture as a starting point for us to gather around in this consciousness ascension, so that we can move the old money into the new paradigm. And so I've just spoken to the issue and the subject of education. And I want you to know still that I kind of have to play politics. I just paid I paid a bunch of money for some continuation courses not too long ago from Harvard. And I'm negotiating with a professor right now on a course where they will be able to say that my environmental suggestions will be part of a course. My environmental answers would be part of the Harvard course. And so I'm looking at that right now. And so that's with regard to background. Was there another or a second part of that question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, I think that's fantastic, Dave, that you're helping them to develop a new curriculum, a new paradigm, new curriculum at Harvard that's focused on alternative energy and free energy. And I think it's profound what you just said. Letting folks know, Dave Parker is truly a pioneer in the free energy, alternative energy movement. And it truly is a pleasure just to be able to have him on the show today. To kind of go forward just a little bit on that, you know, I wanted to find out how you got involved in it. What, I mean, you are a very, very successful businessman. You still are a tremendously successful businessman. How is it that your focus turned from normal business, corporate business environment over to free energy and alternative energy, Dave?
You're going to find this interesting. I don't know if you can hear what I said, but you're going to find this interesting. When I was 18 years old, I was studying alternative energy and how to run cars on vapor. I had just left out of high school, and I asked God, universe, since I was, I don't want to date myself yet. As long as I can pretend to be young, I should keep doing that. But anyway, I actually, around the age of 18, identified the petrochemical monopoly as being in control of the world in such a way that I realized that if these technologies could get onto the market, then we would enter the new paradigm economically, empirically. And I just want to insert this one statement. You cannot have republicanism and you cannot have democracy without an economic manifestation. So basically, I'm telling you that to economically manifest something is vital, or we are being lied to. And so the monopolies have restrained trade. They have carried out market suppression. And so the monopolies are holding back world improvement while selling death, where your mothers and daughters die from cancer in the hospital bed right in front of you, when there's cures that are grown right out of the ground. And so we want to change the curriculum, not just for colleges, but for preschool and for kindergarten and all that, and for grade school. We want people to grow organic permaculture gardens in school, not to have monopolies, which is the biggest poison manufacturer on earth, to purchase the American government and to be placed in charge of the FDA by Obama, who campaigned against GMOs and against Monsanto. So Hillary Clinton also was a Monsanto lawyer. And so the purchase of government is illegal, and the Free Energy Party intends to sue under the RICO Act against racketeering and collusion, and show by naming the names the people who want to make money on death. And if we bring this out publicly and show that the people who are lying and acting like that life will make less money than death, and if we show this, they will be ashamed to continue. People have to go home to their wives. They want to be proud of what they're doing, and their wives want to be proud of them. When you can't hold this lie up any longer, because people like you and I, the both of you and I, have the courage to come on and liberate the public, liberate and inform the public. Oh, that's the change we're waiting on. When you can't even go home to your spouse without them saying, honey, I feel ashamed. The people at the Bridge Club are making fun of me. And then she don't even want to, like, give it up. And, you know, and so he's saying, oh, now you're getting right down. Now you're getting right down to world change here. No, now you're changing the world.
Well, I tell you, you know, what I understand, Dave, is that you really got sick and tired of the monopoly. You truly did. You've seen a lot of stuff with the folks that you were working with, and you got tired of being sick and tired of it, and you wanted to bring about certain technologies that can make a change in humanity's life.
Exactly, yeah. Sandra. My question for you, Dave, would be, what are the implications, besides political implications, of actually having free energy? Where does it go from there? You just focus on energy. You talked about using the earth itself to sustain life, you know, growing your own food, GMOs, preventing the spread of GMOs. But what about land? Where does the acquisition of land tie into all of this and the Free Energy Party?
Are you asking questions about private property and about mortgages, or about agricultural issues? But first, that was your second question. Let me address the first one. The first question, as I understand it, is, or maybe if you just could synopsize the question so that I don't answer you wrong. I'm asking you just do that so I don't answer you wrong.
Sure. So you talked about the political implications of having free energy, but what are the other?
That was your first.
Yes, implications of having this technology besides political.
There are people that would try to foist, I don't mean foist base or second base, They want to foist the notion upon the public that free energy would disemploy people. You got to bear in mind that when digital technology came along and replaced cameras with film, the change was fast and it improved the economy all around. Technology that lets people become more productive relates to the fact that people are at the heart of an economy. Sick people cannot participate in an economy. Dead people cannot participate in an economy. This is not good free enterprise. This is not good capitalism. Let's assume capitalism is not an us versus them dichotomy, the way that it's taught to us by George Soros on the left and David Koch on the right, or Cockroach, or George Soros, whatever. So one is saying that the capitalism is against the communism, and basically they got all the arguments that they spend a lot of money and pump this money into fooling the public about the major issues, because what? Both of them are oil mega billionaires. Both the controllers of your thought versus this thought. Your thought versus this thought. Those controllers are both oil mega billionaires. So what I'm trying to tell you is, it's good for the economy to empower people. Life more abundant is good for the economy. Free energy, nothing is totally free. Everyone gets paid for their work. Everyone gets paid for the goods and materials they come up with. Or you don't have any kind of free, if you go too zeitgeist on me, then people are going to kill each other because you don't have enough to trade or to barter with for what you need. So some form of means of exchange is important before instead you wind up with a microchip implant because you got rid of money and said that it was evil, when in fact the Bible didn't say it was evil. It said the love of money was evil, not money. You can use money for good or for evil. A hammer can be used for good or for evil. A molecule can be used for good or for evil. A hammer can build a house, or you can commit a homicide with that same hammer. I'm telling you to shape and mold those molecules into heaven on earth and into abundance, not just surrender and acquiesce to all the world being molded into hell while we sit back and look and act like we're powerless because you're letting people come in and cult you and brainwash you. And so I'm here to help you with that. And I'm pretty good at it. It'll be okay. And I'm telling you that I'll leave you with one last example. I'm telling you that it's good for the economy to bring in free energy instead of having war over oil and environmental destruction. Terracide is crap for the economy. Ecocide is horrible and costs in secondary costs billions and trillions of dollars. It's horrible for the economy. Destroying the fresh water tables and having people turn their faucets on and you can light it on fire from fracking is horrible for the economy. Nuclear energy draining into the ocean and killing the species out of the ocean, killing life off Earth, is horrible for the economy. And I want to tell you one last parable. So let's imagine someone went to Hitler and they said, Hitler, we're worried. We're worried if you close down the concentration camps, then there's going to be like unemployed guards. The guards will be unemployed. And Hitler said, well, I can't afford for the guards to be unemployed. So we better keep the concentration camps open. So don't let anybody tell you it's bad for the economy to bring in world improvement technology and to bring in quality of life and standard of living improvements. Don't let anyone tell you that sanity is bad for the arms sales when they're carpet bombing women and children in Libya and Afghanistan and Iraq and Syria. And the next question was,
Yes, it was associated with land ownership specifically, and how throughout history we've seen that having land itself in form of power. Is the Free Energy Party, do you guys have any plans to even speak about that? Because I mean, having your own land means you can grow your own food, and that's a form of, once again, sustainability and power itself.
And empowerment. Absolutely. Dave, over to you.
We don't want to be tricked into an us versus them standoff like in Oregon. We don't want to be tricked into that. Here's why. That's why they built the FEMA camps, and that's why the most armed nation in the world is waiting for you to protest with arms. So what I'm trying to tell you is that we can redistribute the land simply by free energy, allowing people to move into open land, into the ocean, under the ocean, onto the mountaintops. We can pull the water out of the air and make the deserts into gardens and build heaven on earth. And when you get in an airplane and you fly over the country, you don't see a bunch of towns. You see empty space. I'm telling you that there's a tremendous abundance of land. Let's get into office and let's open programs up that allow homesteading like it existed 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. Let's allow people that can improve a piece of land to own it. And those arguments, before we get that far, that take us and say we like the Green Energy Party and like lovely, sweet, cute little Jill Stein, and I don't mean that sexist sense. I'm saying it's cute when people are cute. I think people need to be president who are cute, not just some bullies who want to like boys. I'm a boy. I get to be president. You know, I like the fact that female be able to be president too. What about that? You know, how about somebody that speaks almost as meekly as a child could be president? How about that? How come we're crazy? Why do we think it? Well, unless you can talk like this, you don't get to be president. You know, and then we go on the TV and says, "Stick you for more terror." I mean, what's going on around here? You know,
absolutely.
So, we're not impressed. We're not impressed. You know, with where you're taking the world, and we would like some soft spirits to be in charge instead of being underfoot. And so anyway, when Jill Stein, God bless her, and she is a sweet, the aura about her is a sweet person. So, but if she's evincing the notions of George Soros and doesn't know it, when he paid for much of Occupy, trying to enter certain specific notions, and that's the purpose of his financing, is to enter certain specific notions, like get rid of money while he was pushing forward a microchip implant program. Mm-hmm. That if you can get rid of money, we'll have to have microchip implants. Well, and then get rid of mortgages. So Jill stood on the stage, and with the girl, she says, this Hispanic girl, which is standing there by her, said, is my vice president potential here, the runner. And she lived in buildings that were abandoned and didn't pay any rent or anything like that. So then people are listening saying, so she committed a crime, you know, and so that's trespassing. And so that was very bold of her. And I like that a lot. But the problem is that we can't break into people's buildings. And so Iceland did not get rid of the mortgages. They got rid of the banker's interest of anything over 110% of the value of the property. So they got rid of gouging predatory interest. So the bottom line is simple. Starting in the 1980s, and I have to talk a little bit loud because I was advised before the program that the speaker wasn't working really good, and I was worried about, I didn't want to sound like Alex Jones, that's all. But anyway, God bless you. But anyway, in the 80s, the money started to move from the middle class until there was no more middle class. From the 80s until now, what is that, almost 30 years, And so what happened is, now for the first time in history of America, the finances resemble feudalism. Now, you know what feudalism is? That means where only rich people own property. Now, I want to tell you, 93% of all of the money in America is owned by 8 families. They happen to be white families, so if you're, looking for a race card, here's one for you. 8 white families own 93% of the money supply. Now that means that these printing presses making up fake money don't it just doesn't seem to trickle down onto our heads, does it? That theory is not working if 93% of the money supply belongs to 8 families. So, what am I saying in combination with that statistic? I'm saying that if you take private property away from the poor in this hateful class war between the rich and the poor, it's just a game. They wouldn't have anybody to wash their cars or to do their shrubberies, the gardeners. They wouldn't have anybody to wait on them. It's just public entertainment. They want us to argue over the ideas and get going down the wrong road. So the wrong road would be get rid of money, because then they would come in with microchip implants, and the wrong road would be get rid of mortgages, which were created so that poor people could buy property. Poor people that didn't have the cash up front wanted to be able to buy property. And so God in heaven, banks supposedly gave them an opportunity to put money down and to make payments. And the first time that you get rid of the legality of mortgages, they're coming after everybody's property that's not paid off and telling them that mortgages is illegal, and they're putting them people out on the street, and they don't even have anybody to move in those houses. But the Free Energy Party can pay the mortgages of the empty houses. There's 5 times more empty houses than there are homeless people, with a free energy device selling the power back up the grid instead of war over oil selling power up the grid. And I thank you.
Now, Dave, you've been instrumental in helping folks to try to get back on their feet through the Free Energy Party. I know that you redeveloped a lot of trailers for people that were down and on their luck. And I commend you for what you did, for helping folks out, giving them a hand up, not a handout, but a hand up. I thank you, sir.
Thank you. I want to
go ahead.
Interject. Don't lose your point. I want to interject that at some juncture, I coined the term to empower people positively, not to enable them negatively.
Absolutely. I know that there are quite a few points that you're working on the free energy front, and I want to show folks here using our technology. Your website here, you can go over to www.freeenergyparty.org. That's www.freeenergyparty.org. And check out Dave Parker's website. They're doing a little bit of a redevelopment right now, but I would encourage you to join their mailing list for their notifications. And it's always great to do a little bit of a support towards what they're trying to do. Like I said, they're very instrumental in helping people right now with finding homes for them, actually redeveloping a lot of homesteads. Dave is at the forefront of that to help people that just need a hand up. We're not looking for a handout, but a hand up. And if your heart moves you, please consider making a donation to the Free Energy Party. We greatly appreciate that. Now, back to our program here.
I want to say that the website, we got a guy out of Canada and he's a little bit shy. He didn't want me to push his name real big publicly, but he's really big for a real professional redo on our website. And he's so busy. They just bought a building with 2 floors. He wants us to come there, and he's got filming equipment. Wants us to film speeches and all of this. And
That's great.
I'm trying to get people like y'all to do speeches. Yeah.
Maybe one day, Dave. I work behind the scenes, as you know. I feel better working that way and helping support you guys out there who are on the front lines, trying to make a change in people's hearts and people's minds and people's souls to really rise up and really take control of their future, because we can have a wonderful future. We can turn this around. We can change this embargo, because that's truly what we're looking at here. We're really looking at an embargo on energy, on other political issues as well. Go ahead, Dave.
That's devil's horns. You can't say victory. That's devil's horns. And of course, well, no, don't raise the middle finger up. That's a Spock thing, if you can do it or whatever. But anyway, that's supposed to be some kind of leftist thing. I can't do that. Don't do that. Okay, so here, the tripod. You see, I have workers' hands. Anyway, orators' hands are supposed to be longer fingers, but I still try to point and signify. So, if you have the 3 fingers, that's the tripod. Cures for diseases, organic permaculture, and cures and free energy. There, that's it. What the hell? I can't remember the tripod. Free energy, cures for diseases, and organic permaculture. I think back, Sandra, when we first met on a meme on Facebook, and it's a beautiful meme, and it says that it's this blue statue that's brimming from the inside through some cracks in the body with light coming out. And I said on that meme, I said that the Illuminati was named after illuminating oil, and the original illuminating oil to be able to light your house in the so-called civilized world was whale oil. And so all of the mariners, what's the name of that book, Moby Dick? These people were out there spearing whales. Who was paying for it? Who's paying for it? The Illuminati. They wanted the oil, the whale oil, so that you could see in the night. And they called this civilization. That you could see meant that you were going to get to build a civilized world. And even if that meant killing all the whales. So, then one day, Jed was shooting for some food, and up from the ground came a bubbling crude. And geological oil, even though the Indians had heard about it a long time ago, they found it and used it for medicine as it was like floating onto the surface. This became the geological source. It took 15 years. Kerosene was synthesized from the geologically found oil. And then that became the new lamp oil, kerosene. Many people, our relatives died breathing all this black soot from kerosene heaters as well as kerosene lamps. But the Illuminati became the Illuminati illuminating oil from the whale oil, and then they became Illuminati from the kerosene oil. And now we reached a point where the petrochemical monopoly has taken over the world, and we have an answer for this so that we don't have to have just sociopaths murdering our children's future and killing all the life off of Earth because you can't patent life and pretend that you invented it. when in fact it was there already. And so we've got an answer for all that. We need to embrace consciousness ascension. We need to be holders of our own light. Illuminating oil, Illuminati meant holders of the light. So we need to hold our own light internally and externally, if you don't mind.
Dave, you know what? I would love to show folks, because I think that we should transition now into the show and what you can offer people, what you guys have been working on secretly for quite some time now, and you're ready to bring it out to the public. I like to show the folks here my screen and let people see what we're talking about here. If you look at your screen, Dave Parker has been instrumental in bringing certain new technologies to the forefront. And Dave is a wonderful spokesman, and he's great in show, as you can see here on our show today. He's just full of energy, full of life. But I'll tell you, there's a very serious side to this man, and he has brought forward the green machine. And I want you to talk a little bit about that, Dave. What we're doing right now is we're showing them a third-party lab test here. If you could tell us what we're looking at here on your screen, Dave.
Good. May I ask you, while I'm doing this, could you go to the FEP Facebook group and go to the search bar and enter green machine and just take the icon and the actual physical picture of the green machine, and along with the little doughboy type of mannequin, what do you call it, like a mascot. And if you put those up, we'll really do well to communicate our marketing program. When we say marketing, it's different than you think. We are not talking about regular marketing. We're talking about something that both of you would really love if you haven't heard it before. We have investors who will pay for a free green machine on your house, pleasing both the socialists and the capitalists. It will be paid for by the investor will get 50 to 60% of the power sold backup grid. And if the grid doesn't, you have to go up to there it is right there. There it is right there. That's the green machine as a mascot image. But if you scroll around and look around under a green machine post, you'll see a physical picture of the actual green machine. But back to the point.
I'll tell you what, Dave, what we're going to do is we're going to go back over here, because it went international, your news release, about the third-party verification. And this is actually on one of the news boards that we're showing the folks with the letter, the third-party verification letter here. It's real, folks. He does have the technology, and here's some of the photos right here of the green machine.
Yeah, there you go, right there.
Right here, folks, right in front of you. Now, Dave, what are we looking at?
I want to tell you that people who want to act like it could be made up, the owner of Overunity.com, which is the leading free energy site for scientists around the world who are cruel and mean and will bust your chops unless you got the goods, you don't stand a chance with these people. They're burnt and bitter and tired of fakes. They're worse than people that are against free energy. These people have done a flip-flop. The people that are on Overunity.com are harsh and tough. And they're willing to say, look, but listen, we provided the name of the inventor and the name of the test lab, the $1 million test lab, that used $500,000 of equipment doing the test over multiple days, and resulted in offers from China and offers from the U.S. government, $1 million offers. And then the next one from Germany was $9 million. And then the one from China was supposedly $1 billion. And for once, in the name of God or goodness or universe, we have an inventor who said, I'm sorry. In the name of Jesus, now you get a hint. Because that's what he said. So it doesn't matter whether you're Muslim or a Christian or anything like that, but I'm doing this for him. I'm saying he happens to be, I got to give it to him. If he turned down millions of dollars and believes the free energy party is the way to actually change the world, who am I to knock it? Who am I to knock it? I mean, I'm not saying that it's bad that Muslims or Sharia laws in the press or anything. I'm not here to talk about race division. I'm here to join people together. I love Muslims. I have Muslim friends. I go sit down on the floor and drink with the ones from Morocco with that espresso, and I walk out of the house high as a kite on espresso. But I'm just trying to tell you, this guy, whether it was his religion or his extreme common sense and belief in goodness, he believes I'm just like him. He thinks I'm just like him. I'm a good person that wants things to make sense and wants to save the world from these crazy people. We've reached a point where actually an inventor came to me. And yeah, we were working on a separate hydrogen technology, but this man's like sewn at the hip with us. And next we're going to bring you a video to put up. And next I'm going to do a video in front of the White House in the background. You don't want to get on private property and have them beat you to death. But, you
know. Well, Dave, let's kind of clarify this just a little bit for the folks of what we just seen here. What is this technology specifically that you guys are bringing out? That, I mean, it's really causing a lot of controversy. What is this that we're looking at for people that really don't understand free energy and are just starting to watch this program here?
Okay. The part circled in red on a multi-page test report involving several days, and the no one more than the test agency wanted for it to not work. They said this goes against here. They said this goes against every. They said this breaks the second law of thermodynamics.
It's amazing. That's amazing.
It breaks all the laws of physics. And so no one wanted to find something wrong more than that test agency. And the head of Overunity.com, I trusted. I gave him the actual names, and now you can go and tie him up and waterboard him and tell him, who are they? But at some point we have to make a stand, and we have to choose people that we believe think like you and I, that care and that are sensible and that aren't a gamey bunch of manipulating, one-up-minded weirdos. And I don't mean to put anybody down by saying weirdos. We can fall in, any of us can walk into that. We can actually wind up being weird in the eyes of sanity. It's easy, but we don't want to do that. We don't believe in that. And so let's just realize a really expensive test lab that we had an independent test lab. The guy works for us. He's part of our team. He owns an independent test lab. We had this guy who I'm keeping his name secret to, but anybody that cares, and I'll tell you offline, anybody that cares that we work with, that we believe in, I'll tell you who it is. I'll tell you who everything is. So here's the deal. We have the owner of the test lab. He's been involved in it for 35 years. He went in to verify the other test lab.
Now let me say this to folks, okay? The reason why Dave is very, very careful with this information, okay? There are many people in the free energy, I call it a movement, but it's more like an initiative that's trying to get this technology out. I'll be completely honest with you folks, they're murdered, okay? because there are a lot of individuals that have this embargo over this technology. And it's folks like Dave Parker and other individuals that are really trying to push forward this technology to get out into your homes. We see a lot of things going on with Tesla, but Tesla is a part of the big conglomerate. I hate to tell you guys. Also, too, there's a lot of backfillings that are going on right now where certain technologies are not able to get out to you guys because they're trying to keep it to themselves. Or either they come in and they buy the patents from these guys. Go ahead, Dave.
No, you got it.
They go ahead and they buy these patents from these guys, and they end up getting murdered thereafter. Okay, this is what we're talking about, and we're going to be built.
Now,
go ahead, Dave.
I pointedly go in and I try to tell people not to be afraid, that the main measure of control is in psyops. So this is my message, like Laura Eisenhower and other people on his shows, they've actually never heard me speak. But like when you look at Tesla, he died at 86 and he supposedly suffocated with a pillow. Man, that's a long time for an assassination. 60 years, So I think he died naturally. I allege that Stanley Myers died of an aneurysm, not because he was murdered with a poison. But the point is that we become professional victims very readily. It just is part of the us-them paradigm. It's just so natural to us. We grow up on football and beer, although I'm drinking wine right now, and not beer, because I don't want to suddenly start throwing footballs. But I just want to make it clear to you that I don't believe that we imagine the power of psyops. Psyops means, like Chairman Mao said, first you defeat their minds. Okay, first of all, people will say I'm quoting Chairman Mao like I believe in him. The vicious, ugly dictator that killed millions of people, that controlled people's minds, a cult leader, okay, Chairman Mao, who I oppose. He said, first you defeat their minds, and then they defeat themselves. Okay, what did you just learn? What you just learned is that you don't have to spend money on people to go out and kill people. All you have to do is make people stop themselves. And so when Troy Reed is in a meme and it says this inventor was killed after showing the motor running on a magnet motor, I talk to Troy Reed all the time. He's alive and well and wonders how many more times he's been killed lately. When Paul Pantone, the meme says, oh, this inventor was jailed after this video was released. Okay, listen to me. I was in Utah. I don't want to tell how old I am. I'm 110. But when Paul Pantone was thrown into jail, it was not jail. It was into the nut ward again because he's gone intermittently in and out of the nut ward for evaluation. Okay, now bring me up another example of someone killed. So it's deeper than you think. It's not that people, but I think it's awfully suspicious about the one doctor that was found dead by the river who was working with the Nagales and the GMAF or whatever. The one doctor and the rest of them, how did they get piled in there when in fact they didn't directly have a connection with research against Nagales and against. We don't know who's putting forth the psyops and how they're controlling us with fear so that we never try, so that we give up and never try, so that we feel like cattle that all you got to do is put an electric fence up once and then they'll never go there again. You just turn your electricity off and save your electricity. They know they can't go there.
Well, you know
you
what,
want to
Dave?
say something?
Yes, sir. You know what, Dave? I think it's courageous individuals like yourself that are inspiring the next generation that see through the facades, that see through the psyops, that want a better way for themselves, that think of another Tomorrowland where we all can prosper together. Not just the chosen few, but we all prosper together.
I just love y'all. I have no idea how progressive and the right wingers come along and say, Dave, you can't use the word progressive. Okay, all right. All right, you're taking all the colors. The only transvestites can use the rainbow. I put rainbow out there, and everybody come up and giggles outside of my door because I have a rainbow thing that turns around, and they say, "Oh, oh." And I mean, come on. You can't let people take the symbol of the fist. That's my hand. You can't take that. You can't take our vocabulary. You can't take and say it belongs to this or belongs to that. So what I'm saying is that you're speaking the truth, and I feel it and see it. And the psyops is what I'm trying to tell these young people about. I'm saying that in fact, there's a reason that the monopolies have concept cars. Concept cars show you false hope. That car is never going to get on the market. That car is not going to be for sale. It's a car running on hydrogen. It's a car running on salt water. It's a car that will fly. Oh, it's not going to actually be on the market. It's a false hope. Why should the monopolies be worried about anything? They control the marketplace. By controlling the marketplace, they stop you from introducing world improvement technologies. They stop you from introducing answers economically. And they don't care what you know. No one kills Alex Jones for telling people about Illuminati or Bilderbergers. They feel more power like a sociopath or an abusive wife beater when you know how you're getting screwed. They don't mind you knowing how you're getting screwed. That gives them power. They control the marketplace. The way to change the world is economically, and it's through underground manufacturing, because we're not asking anyone's permission. We're not being a victim, a professional victim, not another day longer. You said, oh, how do you get marijuana? It's illegal. Well, it's illegal. You didn't say, oh, they won't let me have it. No. You went out and got it because you wanted, I guess, to feel that buzz. I don't know. But what about free energy? Oh, they won't let us have free energy. Okay, that's it. Next subject. We're screwed. The whole world's going to end. Okay. Underground manufacturing means we don't need anyone's permission. Illegal restraint of trade by illegal monopolies that will be sued by the Free Energy Party under the RICO Act, proving racketeering and collusion, will be busted and the individuals will be thrown behind bars. Don't think it won't happen. And I'm here to tell you that as far as changing the world economically, that we have every righteous reason as people that believe in free enterprise system to be able to market world improvement technology. And if we have to go do it because we are realizing what monopolies do. What do monopolies do, Dave? Well, they restrain trade, restraint of trade. Okay, let's not be naive. We know what monopolies do. So underground manufacturing can be called proprietary manufacturing, it can be called confidential manufacturing, whatever you want to call it to sound like less leftist, more pro-business, or whatever. But the fact is that free enterprise requires the underground manufacturing and distribution of world improvement technologies before we're all dead.
Well said, Dave. Well said. Now, the next question is this. When are you guys going to be able to bring this out to folks? What does that time frame look like? Where are you guys at right now on that?
We're challenging government trolls or anybody to fool us. We want the name of anyone that would like a free generator on their house, and we would like a list. We're willing to go through your program and collect the list because you're not involved. You're a documentary of what's going on historically. We want a list of anybody, and the greatest list would be go and vote for a free energy device on your home so that we can order as a government. And we don't want the $5.3 trillion used to prop up monopoly oil around the world. And it is international, not national anymore. That's $5.3 trillion of corporate welfare. So we could say we're going to take that corporate welfare and we're going to put solar cells on all the homes around the world. Well, yeah, the Free Energy Party could just say that, but I wanted to really come up with a revolutionary answer that allowed the people to be the power producers, and they've crippled the solar people in certain countries like Spain because the solar is so passive. It costs so much to get so little, and then they say, well, we're going to price you right out, make you sell your solar cells because the taxes from being attached to the grid are so high. So now they're trying to do that in this country because people are selling power back up the grid. So they've already made the way for us to sell power back up the grid. Now the next thing is, if they try to make it, so prohibitive that they can try to go against, they can't do that in this country. We proceeded, we progressed. There's that word again, progress. I choose to embrace it and own it. I'm sorry if some liberals have hurt some right-wing people with using it wrongly, but and I say it vice versa, all words. But the bottom line is, I'm trying to inform you that in Spain they're trying to disassemble all of the nuclear. I mean the solar. They're trying to disassemble all of the solar. I was thinking about bringing up a nuclear mention next. They're trying to disassemble all the solar by way of a tax on anyone that's hooked up to the grid. So the leverage that free energy has is if you can sell to your neighbors, you're the new grid. Microgrids. Microgrids become the new grid. So if microgrids are the new grid, then the grid is out of business. But we are offering a more specific answer. We are offering a way that the people can be the power producers, since the grid is just a whore, according to themselves. They just want to buy power for the cheapest price. So we will offer power. We will undercut the war over oil, if you don't mind. And so now we will undercut war over oil and sell power back up the grid for dirt cheap. And the grid will still sell it to anybody that's not part of our system yet, probably pretty high, although it'll be cheaper than before. It'll be cheaper than before. And in the end, people say, well, when everyone has free energy, who's there to sell for? Industry. The people are going to sell to industry, and the economy will boom, because now you can move into the deserts and into the oceans and under the oceans and onto the mountaintops. You're no longer restricted by a plug-in in your neck from the matrix, which forces you to be like cockroaches packed in a tin can, like sardines, plugged into the grid because you can't get heat or you can't get cooling, and you don't want to be on a park bench because now they got spikes coming up on park benches and make it illegal to be covered up with cardboard or something.
Well, let's lasso this back. Let's lasso this back. And once again, Dave, my friend, tell me, when are we going to get this green machine out there? Are you still in R&D right now? Are you at the point?
Okay, watch this.
Go ahead.
Now we can put a green machine on your home if you sign an agreement to the confidentiality of an R&D program, which means that when the power company comes around, they legally can only see the grid tie. That means there's a box. The power company can see and measure that everything coming out of that building, or the hole that we dug in the ground, that everything coming out of there is 60 cycles, exact voltage that they want, whatever that is, for one glass of wine. And I don't care about the details. I'm interested, like you, in getting it on your house. And I know I'm going to have to wrestle with people like, well, 60 times 3 plus y z equals j. And you're wrong. You know, I'm just getting tired of it. I have to do this all the time. I was told the stalker, somebody from the hater group, snitched off to me because they got a little feed of me information and said that this stalker is headed to Texas and going to offer me $100,000 to get out of the free energy party or going to kill me. Yeah, that's what they told people. That's what they told people. Well, I'm in Florida, so good luck finding me in Texas. So I'm not worried about this kind of thing. I think people are crazy, and I'm not worried. I think that.
Well, Dave, my friend, I tell you, we've got folks all around the world that have written into us. We have Lorenzo right now here from Lima, Peru, who says to you, you know, Dave, will you expand the green machine to South America and others? That's one of his questions. We want to get this into you because we're at the end of our show, but we want to make sure that we get this out to you. And a way for folks to connect with you to get this one to their houses, because I think what you're doing is revolutionary. And like I said, you're a wonderful showman, and I hope people understand that's that's a part of Dave Parker. But there's a very serious side and a very, very compassionate side to this man that I want you all to know that this technology is real. It is very real. And he's trying to bring it out to these folks. He's got a lot of things that he's having to deal with right now to bring it out to you guys. And Dave, if you want to go ahead and answer Lorenzo here, when are you guys going to be able to expand this into South America and others?
I would like it if Lorenzo assisted me in doing a demonstration on the news in Belamonte in Brazil to stop the flooding of the rainforest by hydro technologies where they want to make flood it and divert the rivers that God and goodness and Mother Nature, Goddess, put these rivers, and then we're supposed to like block them and flood all the life, 2/3 of the species alive, 1/4 of the fresh water, 1/2 of the oxygen from the rainforest. And you want to like get rid of that, along with Monsanto growing breasts on men and the water that we drink. You can light it on fire before you die of cancer. And look at that for some distractions. So I'm just saying I want Lorenzo to help me set up a demonstration associated and connected with a lawsuit against the companies, because we want to call it no longer legal to have it called a strategic asset. Oil is no longer a strategic asset to justify war over oil, and we will sue and prove that with the demonstration of the green machine unless you can figure out how to kill Zorro first. Good luck. But over in the Belamonte, I want to make it clear to you that in Belamonte, the chief, we don't want to get him killed and give him a green machine and get him killed. But we want to give him one on paper and demonstrate it with him and then work it in if he needs to prove at any time that there's far superior technology than flooding the rainforest and killing off the earth. And, you know, you mentioning I'm an entertainer. Yeah, I was a professional singer much of my life. And people don't know how to relate to that, that you could run for president and you were a professional singer. But I've done everything. If you talk to my mother, she talks real southern. She said, "How are you, Dave?" And she said, "You should have always been a doctor, you know, and you're the best lawyer in the world," and all that, you know. And that's just because I didn't want to be a pig farmer. And so I still talk Southern. If you keenly listen, you can hear it in my voice. But really, when I talk to my relatives and stuff, it's just embarrassing. They put several vowels in all the words. Like, yes, that's just one syllable, right? No, yes, that's 2 syllables. David, okay, that's 2 syllables, right? No, David, that's 4 syllables, mother.
Well, Dave, I tell you, we could go on, and it's so entertaining to have you with us. And I hope that everybody has enjoyed this because Dave's a really great guy. He's funny as all get out.